So today we're going to show you guys a full-on ADA 90-piece setup from top to bottom, all ADA ran. So this is one of my maintenance clients, really cool in an office building here. As soon as you walk in, this is kind of like the first thing you see. We used to have another tank sitting right here that was another brand, and then we eventually transitioned to this full ADA. It made a lot more sense for, I think, this business and this whole room and office facility in general. Just looks really nice. Obviously with ADA, it works out great for clients and like businesses because that pristine look, it's like a match made in heaven for a lot of people. And of course, not a lot of people know about ADA or even know about UNS, some other high-end brands that also look really clean. And so it's kind of refreshing when especially somebody like me can kind of showcase a lot of these tanks and advertise them and get more people not only into like these brands, but not only more into freshwater and most importantly more into aquascaping and all that. And a lot of people have been just loving these tanks with how clean they are. Of course, with saltwater, with businesses, of course, for personal needs, it's all up to the person. But in my opinion, I think saltwater, especially for a maintenance client or any client in general, with salt creep and in a business with heavy foot traffic, you got salt creep. There's just a lot going on with saltwater that can just not visually look appealing, and especially if the right person isn't maintaining it. And even then, even the best of people, it's just you can never be there enough to actually make it look 100% that pristine. Versus where a lot of these aquascapes even just come here once a week, and these things just look just gray and pristine and just always look clean. So it's a win-win for a lot of people, and obviously aesthetically, especially a lot of people watching this channel. Obviously, we all love the plant tank that much more, and in the color, just everything about it is just that much more better, in my opinion. Lot more creatures. There's a lot of color going on, a lot of detail, a lot more detail. I feel like you can do with these plant tanks. So somewhere that's already trying to do their own business and have clients walking into their own business and then seeing this and seeing how clean this is, it kind of just really ties a lot of things together. And of course with with my business too, it's almost like a little cheat code because it makes you look better almost, essentially. Not really, of course, because obviously with like anything, these can get just as dirty if you don't take care of them. We all know how aquariums can go, but with all the aesthetics of ADA, it's like just a match made in heaven for a lot of these clients. But yeah, I just wanted to give a quick view. We'll start talking about this tank, but pretty much I'm gonna plan on kind of bringing the channel a little back. I never stopped the channel, of course. I just got really busy and time just got away from me. So it kind of sucks because I was kind of the first time in like 10 years I didn't upload like weekly. So it was a big change for me. But yeah, now that I got the business going and we're doing maintenance clients, there's a lot of great tanks you guys will get to see move forward. Of course, follow me on social media, mainly Instagram right now. If you guys want to see more just behind the scenes, a lot of client tanks, because of course I'll show those because they're more in real time, but of course on YouTube it'll be a little delayed because I have to upload them, edit them and all that, so it'll be a little behind, but I'll try to start putting out videos as I can. So I can't promise what how frequent I'll be or how often I'll be doing videos, but right now it'll still be pretty slow. But when I get the chance, I'll try to sit down do some tank videos. I also have a full ADA 180p I want to start filming. That's going to be a real treat for you guys. You're going to love that because nobody is filming, I mean, let alone ADA tanks, but bigger ADA tanks and some of these really huge plant tanks that I'm doing right now. You guys are really get to see some cool stuff going forward, so I'm kind of excited to show that. But this one's really nice. It's pretty simple though, so that's why it's like I can kind of talk and introduce almost myself all over again, because from the videos I was putting out till now is going to be a little different, especially the tanks that you guys are going to see forward is a lot different, because obviously it's like a lot of people loved the tanks that I was putting out before in my own personal space and rooms, and you guys all saw that all doesn't exist no more. Building a new house, and we're going to be doing a lot of cooler stuff. So that's why I said this channel's still going to be kind of slow, because there's a lot of stuff I still need to get done before we can really full on blown. But you guys will definitely start seeing plenty of tank content though. I have plenty of tanks I can start showing you guys. Of course, none of them are personally mine, but they're still aquascapes and they're still really nice setups that we can start filming and talking about. And of course, a lot of you guys like to know how these tanks are ran and what the process of these tanks are. So that would be a lot of fun, of course. So yeah, this tank also, like I said, full ADA setup, ADA 90p. We got the ADA light screen back here too with the gradient film back there with the blue on the top half. I think it fits with this tank. It looks really good. It's almost hard to get it to look good almost on camera. It looks even better in person. It just looks great. And it's crazy. Like, this maintenance section actually took off the light screen to clean it, and it's just crazy the difference without a light screen to a light screen. You do get kind of spoiled with the light screen. How it transitions the tank is just insane. The way it just looks so much better, and of course for filming and camera, and taking pictures, it makes it that much better as well. But you guys can't really see it, but we do have ADA Solar RGB. We got the metal stand too on this. This is a Aquaforce stand, so from Aquaforce, San Francisco, California. So if you're not watching here in the United States, that's where that came from. But of course, if you're anywhere else, I'm sure there's other stores that make stands very similar. But yeah, this stand is an ADA, but it is by Aquaforce, which is an ADA retailer. So that's the only thing that's pretty much not ADA, other than the CO2 system as well, which will show. So yeah, we got the glass lily pipes, which talking about the filtration, we got, I'll kind of pull this down. So we got, this was actually, I think I was actually one of the first people in the United States to order a Superjet 900 when they first came out. And when I was setting up this tank, they pretty much just came out, which worked out perfect, because I would have had to do like a 1200 on this tank, or even like a 600, which probably wouldn't have worked well. So I'm glad ADA finally made the 900, which was perfect for the 90p. And then we got an inline heater that goes in there. But yeah, typical Superjet setup. Got the clear hose going up to the lily pipes. And then in the second cabinet, we have the CO2 system. Pretty traditional, like we've always done, 5-pound, and I do have a GLA regulator on there, which is my personal preference. I feel like GLA makes the best regulators, and there's a couple other brands that still make some pretty nice ones. But for client-wise, I guess the best way I like to describe it is, for client-wise, GLA, they are more expensive, but they're built a lot better. They're going to last pretty much a lifetime as long as you don't abuse them. And so for client tanks, even for my personal tanks too, but for client tanks, they're just more robust, and I kind of trust when I'm not here, every single day. So, when CO2 can be as deadly as it is, you kind of don't want to, especially when I'm not here and it's a maintenance client, you're here once a week, every 2 weeks, you just want to trust that regulator a little more. So that's why I'll spend the extra money and do the GLAs. So then the hardscape for this tank, which again, I kind of wish I was able to film all these scapes, which now going forward, I'll definitely be able to film a lot of these scapes and time lapses and stuff like that, so that'll be fun. But a lot of these tanks that look really good now, it'd been really cool to show you guys what they look like, which I have pictures, and of course I'll on my website too, which I'll have the link on this channel now too. And then of course if you go to my Instagram too, I have all that linked as well, and you guys will be able to see pictures, eventually, of all these setups behind the scenes too. And I want to do that on the website too. I've already kind of started on one of my pages. I've kind of had timelines of all these tanks and how they started to a year later essentially. So I started doing that on my website, so you guys can kind of see that. But there's not much tanks to look at the moment with that, but I wanted to start doing that, and especially with some of these tanks that nobody really got to see being set up, I want to start actually doing time lapses. But yeah, the scape pretty much manzanita wood. We have it kind of coming up here, real nature style aquarium. We got photo stone for the main stone. A lot of cool pieces. A lot of the cooler ones are kind of out in the front here with a little more detail. And then of course we have ADA soil with the ADA La Plata sand here in the foreground. But plant-wise, pretty simple, more just epiphytics. We didn't really want to do a lot of trimming on this tank, but we do have a big old thing of Atra in the back, which the Atra actually in this tank was growing out 2 feet and flowering, which was really nice. But we decided to kind of go ahead and start trimming that down and just see what it looks like regrowing in the tank maybe. And then down the road, I may let it still grow in the tank, but not as dramatic. It kind of got out of hand, so that's why I kind of just trimmed it now. But then we got a lot of thin Java-fern species like trident and narrow leaf. And then we got a bunch of Nana Pete Anubias throughout the whole tank. And then all this, which looks like mosses, Ricardia. So I love Ricardia, it just really fills in the spaces, and just the way it kind of just grows across woods and rocks, it just looks really nice. It's that extra detail. And then for the extra detail, we do have some hair grass growing kind of around some of the rockwork too, which looks really, really cool. And then we do have S. repens kind of in the back, and a couple crypts kind of hiding the back. Again, it's trimmed. I'm kind of redeciding how I want it to look, but with it trimmed, some things are kind of hiding. But then we do have some Musaflandra over here, all in these crevices, which looks really cool. And then we just put more neon tetras in here. So there's about like 30 or so in here. So yeah, you can see quite a bit. But they school really nice, really, really fat neons. So it's pretty good sized neons. They came from a previous tank that they're getting fed pretty well, but they work out great in this tank. And there's some Reminos as well, kind of in here. But yeah, I had the chance to put these neons in here, so I was like, might as well. And then for kind of a centerpiece, we do have like 3 honey grommies. They kind of hang out in the back sometimes, but they're really cool. They come in and out of the jobber and all like that, so they're really fun to watch. But then we just have your normal cleanup crew. We have Amanos near right, it's auto sinklets. We have a flying fox in there. I just put in some crystal red shrimp as well in there, so that'll be fun to watch. I have those in multiple tanks right now, client tanks, and they've been breeding like crazy, so we've kind of been spreading them out between some tanks. But yeah, that's pretty much it for the gist of it. But I'll flip the camera and give you guys kind of a more closer view. But like I said, on my Instagram, I did plenty of like content and videos, little short videos of kind of up close of the tank too. So you guys can definitely check that out if you guys aren't already following that. But flip you guys around so you can see the tank here. Yeah, really, really cool. So you can see a little office building. But yeah, so the front door is essentially right behind me, and so when you first walk in, even people walking by, it's a glass door, so the first thing you see is kind of this tank. And like I said, with the light screen, the ADA light, it just looks so cool, and especially like at night when all the lights are off and you still walk by this tank. It's like it's just so cool. It's just a perfect business tank. It'd been really cool. I think a 120p would be even more crazy right here, but yeah, the 90p does fit really nice. It kind of leaves, you know, some good space in between both sides real evenly, so I think this was the perfect tank for this space for sure. So get you guys like up close shot. But yeah, these neons, they just look so good. You see some of the honey grommies up there too. Ruby nose. But yeah, some of the atria that we trimmed, it's starting to kind of grow back in now. You can kind of see. It's just, I just had to really butcher cut it, but obviously a lot of these are pretty forgiving, so it'll I kind of want it to kind of grow back. So I think my goal is kind of just, you know, kind of round trim it, just kind of keep it right at the surface, but kind of follow the scape down with that atria. And like I said, I'll still probably let it kind of grow a little bit, because that's kind of what the goal with like some of these pieces sticking out. Obviously they're really thin, so it's more just for looks. But I at one point I was wanting to have like any stems or Pinophilia, Hydrophila, like the UK species, for example. I do that a lot growing out of the tanks, and I still actually may do that. I think I will keep the Rotala to a minimum and maybe let some of that still grow back out. But then I think if I get some Hydrophila back, that's a really thin, but I think it just looks really good. So I may plan on doing some of that, of course. And I think that would just look really nice. It would grow towards that solar to be really nicely. And look really, really good. But I'll show you guys the under cabinet again, which I do have an LED. I do have an LED that turns on in here. Just have it off right now. But need to hang it back up. It kind of fell down off the cabinet. But yeah, we got the Superjet 900 on here. Got the inline heater, and then CO2, GLA regulator, all that good stuff. And then actually it does go inline, just so you guys can see that. It goes inline to the output there, so really cool. But yeah, I just want to kind of bring back some videos to the YouTube channel. I thought this would be a pretty good one, so yeah, a little bit longer, but just wanted to talk for a little bit at first and then showcase this tank afterwards. So, but yeah, if you guys have any questions, obviously Instagram, hit me up, or however you want to in the comments. Just let me know if you have questions about this tank. We'll always be happy to answer. And yeah, like I said, if you're in the local area and you want a tank like this in your office or you in house, just let us know, and we can make your dreams come true, and we can make anything happen. So, but yeah, this has been a really fun tank, and I think it's just literally is the definition of a nature aquarium, this tank here. So just that classic Amano. I think this has been one of my favorite tanks to watch grow in. It just, with all the epiphytics, it's kind of slow growing, but also got some stuff that kind of grows in a little quick, and it just the way it just I really haven't had to do anything to this tank. The way we planted it, it just kind of has naturally grown in like this, and I would have never imagined it looked like this. But it's just crazy how some of these tanks, they just kind of shape themselves, and that's exactly the goal. Is like, we kind of plant the seed to how we want it to look, and then we just kind of let nature take off and do their own thing, and that's exactly what happened to this tank. So it's a really good looking tank. Just never had problems with it, so it looks really, really nice. So yeah, other than that, if you guys make sure you guys let me know any questions, and hopefully, like I said, you can get some more YouTube videos out, start showing these more client tanks, and kind of start doing some behind the scenes and stuff like that, and maintenance sections and trimming sessions and aquascaping sessions and all that good stuff. So start doing the good old days and do what we used to do. So just a little bit on a bigger scale. So yeah, other than that, I'll see you guys on the next one.